This tutorial is about creating an interactive conceptual design, your final stage in your conceptual design using InDesign and its interactivity features. Before you start, make sure that you have either PDFs, JPEGs, PNGs of your final versions of your website. I've got some examples here where they have been used with are created, finalized into a PDF. And if you'll notice that you have the text, the colors, the fonts, the layout exactly like you want it. You can see in the example here that home is a different color. And if you're on the fundraisers page, fundraisers is a different color. So it shows what it would be like if you were on that page. The one that we're going to use for this tutorial, this is undone, and the student Yuri, who made these a few years ago, had saved her final versions as JPEGs, but you can see when we're on the About page, it shows the underline. She's got her fonts, her colors, sizes, all of that, and some imagery. So now the final step, once you have it in that format, is to make it interactive using InDesign. There are different ways to do interactivity in InDesign, but this is probably the most straightforward and gives you the effect that you want to show your final stakeholders. So when you launch InDesign, you need to just create a new document separate from the ones that you were using for your individual page layouts. You could have done this all at once, but this is probably just an easier way to do it. And web, you change that to web, and then create your size. Make sure that it's to the size that you've selected for your layouts. In this particular case, the one we're going to do in Undone, Yuri had created hers to a scale of 1000 by 768. And we've got just one page right now, and I'll show you how to add pages in case you can't remember through the page layout. You could have, or through the pages palette, you could have also indicated how many pages you wanted. So make sure that you have on your window menu, you're showing your pages. And also make sure that you have under the interactivity that you have the hyperlinks palette up. So those are two things that will need to work with, pages and hyperlinks. So on the first page, place your version of your home page. And then using the Pages palette at the bottom, you can just use a Create New. I might close this up a little in case it's going off the screen. So we do Create New, File Place. And on the second page, I'm going to add the About. Add another page, File Place, and I'll add the collections, and then the other pages I'm going to add are what it will look like if you click on this click for video. In this particular brief, the clients had a video that they wanted played because they had made a promotional video. So I'll add another new page and place the video. If you clicked on it on collections, and I will have final one where I have placed the video if you were from the home page. Doesn't really matter what order these are in necessarily because you're going to make them clickable, but I'm just doing it in a semi-logical order. Okay, so if we flick through using our Pages palette, you can see that she has different effect for the different pages to show which one you're on. And if you notice, it's a slight difference between the video playing on collections because she still showed the underline for collections, and then if we look at it when you're on the home page, it's there and showing the rest of it with the opacity blurred or set lower. So let's go ahead and make the interactivity. We'll start on the home page. If you use a rectangle frame tool, do not use just the rectangle tool because the rectangle will be then hollow and it won't be clickable, so use a rectangle frame. If you hold down, you could use an ellipse or a polygon if you wanted it to be a more irregular shape, but for this case, a rectangle is fine. So I'm going to make a rectangular frame over the about, and then I need my hyperlinks up, so I'm in my hyperlink palette. I'll make this a bit smaller. Create a new hyperlink. There's an icon at the bottom, and you could link any of these hyperlinks to an outside website if you wanted to, but in our case we want to just go to another page, and we want it to go to page 2 because that's our about page. If you notice, it says Untitled here, and that reminds me that I haven't actually saved the InDesign document, so I'm going to click OK and then go into saving the actual document and having some good document naming. So undone concept final interactive. Saving it into that same folder, and I don't want to lose my links. All right, so now if I did just double click on that hyperlink, I can see it's updated the document name. It's going to page 2. I want to leave it as an invisible rectangle and no real highlight, just so that it looks more realistic for how we want it to on the web. Next, because I want that to be on the other pages, if I simply copy that while it's selected and then go to the collections page, because I don't need that hyperlink necessarily on the about page, I'll do an edit, and if I do paste in place, it goes right into the same location. So now I have the about hyperlink taken care of. If I go to back to the home page, I'll make another frame over collections. That's the other that's the other part that we want clickable. And then in my hyperlinks palette, I'm going to add another hyperlink. This one is going to go to page 3, which is collections. I will copy that, and using my pages, I'll go to the about page, edit, paste in place, and now I've got a link to the collections from that page as well. On the collections page itself, there's this link over here that's click for video, so I can make another frame, and I'll hyperlink that, create a new hyperlink, and that one is going to go to page 4, which is the video for the concepts. And then I'm going to go to the video page for the concepts, and I want to make this close button a hyperlink as well. So with my rectangular frame, I'll go over the close button, and when I link that, That's going to go back to page 3 so that I'm back on the collections page. And then the final thing I need to do is go back to my home page. And I also want this clickable. Click for video, but for the home page. So I'll make that a hyperlink. And that one is going to go to the last page, page 5. And then my final step, going to page 5, I want this close box. When that closes, then I'm back on the home page. So my last hyperlink, link back to page 1. So now I have completed all of the interactivity. And the final step is just, well, first of all, save this document as an InDesign document so you can go back and edit it later. But then we need to export that to check our interactivity. And when we export it, make sure that it's not Adobe PDF Print. It should be Adobe PDF Interactive. And into that same folder, you can leave all the defaults, and it will generate a PDF. And it should open up. It asks you usually if you want it in full screen, and that's fine. So now I have this in full screen mode, and I should be able to check my interactivity. So when I click on the About, I see I have the hand. Gives me that effect that I now have the interactive, that I'm on that page because it's underlined. If I click on collections, I can go there. If I click on the video, that pops up, and if I click on the close, I'm back at that page. So and I can go back to the About. The only thing that I haven't added to this, which I could go back and do, I haven't made all of the home page links interactive from the other ones back to home. But I think by this you should be able to see how to create the interactivity and how this shows a client in more in a really straightforward way what their concept will look like and how it will act. So that's quite important. It's more physical and functional. The other thing is that you now will have a really good handle on where your divs structure should be. You should know now CSS, what you'll need for that as far as colors and fonts and sizes. And then it makes it much easier for you to begin your coding.